that's it. This is our finished bit. It's very Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Mishi. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I don't know if the light is doing me justice or not. Like, I'm kind of seeing shadows. It's gloomy outside. We are still in winter, but yeah. Today is the 4th of February. Happy new month. In this video, like stated in the title, we are going to do the basic. We're going to start with the basics of makeup, and that is our base. We're going to start with, sorry guys, I was not looking at you guys directly. So we're going to begin with the basics of makeup, and that is our base. Disclaimer, I am not a makeup artist. Everything I have taught myself here on YouTube. So if I make a mistake, please feel free to correct me in the description box below. And yeah, let's get started. So the most I love makeup, and I've been applying makeup for a very long time. The thing that I've come to realize is for your makeup to eat, you have to have a good foundation. And the foundation, I don't mean the foundation, the makeup foundation. I don't mean like this makeup foundation. I mean your skin. You have to take care of your skin. How do you take care of your skin? You need to have a skincare routine. You don't have to buy the most expensive products, but just have a routine. Make sure you clean your face. You wash your face on a daily. You use a moisturizer on a daily. If you can afford sunscreen, the better, especially if you are somewhere where it's very hot, like if you're back home in Kenya or anywhere else in the world where it's warm, like in Asia or I believe maybe Australia. I don't know, I've never been. But take care of your skin. Drink a lot of water, and yeah, your skin is going to glow. It doesn't matter how many products you use, expensive products, but if it's not a routine, if it's not something that you're doing on the daily, it won't work. So your skin won't be glowing just naturally. Let it just naturally. Once you have good skin and your skin is glowing naturally, foundation, once you apply makeup, it's going to eat. Okay, so today we are going to be using, I'm going to use all the products that I'm gonna use at drugstore, because we are beginners, so we're going to start with affordable makeup. Okay. For my application, I'm going to be using this flat brush on one side, and on the other side I'm going to use a beauty blender. Why? Because people are different. There are people who prefer using beauty blenders, and there are people who prefer using a brush. Personally, it depends on my mood, how I'm feeling. So let's just begin. I've already my face is clean, obviously. I have done my skincare routine for today, and I have moisturized. So before I apply makeup, I usually I apply my moisturizer, then maybe I do my hair and maybe pick my outfit. By the time I'm coming to put on makeup, like my moisturizer has absorbed into the skin. Then I'm going to use my primer, and for this video we are going to use the Melanin no pore zone mattifying primer. The lip gloss is also from Melanin, this one. Very nice. Anyway, so we're going to apply primer. There are so many affordable primers out there, ladies and gents, and if you're beginning, just get any primer from your local beauty store. I apply my primer especially where you can actually, I have quite enlarged pores. You can see my pores. Where my pores are is where I'm gonna apply, and I usually concentrate my primer on my T-zone and the places I get oily fast. My nose, my forehead, and here where my pores are mostly enlarged. Doesn't have a smell though. So now I have extra primer, and I'm just going to apply it all over my face because I already have it on my hand. When we are applying primer, we are not trying to push it in to the, we want to leave some primer on the skin so that it forms this barrier. We don't want it to be absorbed in the skin. So after that, we're going to apply our foundation. 1, your foundation should match your skin tone. I know sometimes I also apply foundation that doesn't match my skin, but I've come to realize it's better to go darker than to go lighter, because with a darker foundation, once you highlight and set and everything, it kind of balances out. But also don't go too dark. When you go too dark, it's going to turn gray. You're going to be looking like a zombie. So for this, we're going to use the Jovial I Am Magic Natural Radiance Foundation. My nose is itchy. So that's, I've taken a pump and I've put it on this flat brush. This brush is very dense and I love it for foundation. I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to just stipple on the foundation, and I love working from the inner side to the outer side of my face, to the perimeter of my face, and using stippling motions. If you want to see the review on this foundation, I will link it up here. It has a very pungent smell of avocados hair treatment, but it disappears with time. I usually don't like applying a lot of foundation on my forehead, so I usually just try to use what is on the brush. And so I'm going to just use some setting spray to help me move this around. So I've done the half of my face with the brush, and as you can see, I am not swiping the foundation all over my face. I am using this stippling motion to send the foundation all over my face. I really don't know if the light is lighting, so should I? Anyway, we'll see once the video is finished. Otherwise, I'll have to reshoot it. Now I'm going to go in with the beauty blender for this other half, so that you see how I apply it with the beauty blender. Wow, a little bit much, but I still use the same technique. I start from the inner side of my face and take the whole product to the outer side of my face using stippling motions. When you use your beauty blender, you want to make sure that you run water. You hold your beauty blender under running water for a while until it enlarges in size, and then you want to squeeze off the excess water. After you squeeze off the excess water, you want to dry it on a serviette or a tissue, and then your beauty blender will be ready for use. So this side we have used the brush, and this side we use the beauty blender. At the end of the day, it's all about preference, and the application is the same. The outcome. The thing about the beauty blender is the beauty blender kind of absorbs all the excess. The beauty blender absorbs the excess foundation from your face, unlike the brush. So would personally advise you to always take one pump at a time. Take the first pump, apply it on your face, see how far you have gone with that pump, and if you need more foundation, then you take the next pump. Don't just pump a lot of foundation and then you have too much foundation on your face. It also doesn't look good. At the end, you look cakey. After you apply foundation all over your face, you're going to, for example, if maybe you feel like there's a place you need more coverage, then you just take a little bit of foundation and add on to it. I would suggest that you do color correcting, but that is something that I'm going to do a video on it. Personally, I don't color correct, but I'm just going to share this information. There are people who need to color correct because maybe they have like dark circles underneath the eye. Maybe they have spots because of acne or different reasons. So if you have that and it doesn't matter how much foundation you apply on your face, maybe you should consider color correcting before applying the foundation, and I'm going to do a video on that. Now let us continue with our base. So we've done our foundation. Now we're going to highlight. To highlight, you always need concealer that is lighter than your foundation, not too light, but the rule of thumb is 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation. Personally, I think it's preference. There are people who are dark like me, and they really use like a very light foundation. So it's all about preference. But if you're a beginner, I would suggest just start with 2-3 shades lighter than your foundation shade. After that, you can decide, do you like that look, or maybe you want to go brighter. There are people who decide, oh no, maybe 2-3 shades is too much, I'll just go for 2. It's all about your choice. Personally, today I'm going to be using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. I love these concealers. I have to get myself some more. I personally am going to go in with the Mocha, and so my Mocha is almost out. I need to order. Okay, so this is Mocha. That's Mocha. It's a few shades lighter than my foundation. What I love most about Mocha is that it's not like so much into your face. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll realize I don't highlight my forehead, but for the sake of this foundation, the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to do that today. Okay. Because there are people who like that. So for those people, I'm going to do it for you guys. Ooh, smoke. So we are going to let it sit for a while. And by the way, with these concealers, you have to work a little bit faster because they dry out. I'm going to go in with the Fenty contour stick. This is the only thing maybe that is a little bit expensive that I'm using. And this contour stick, to avoid harshness, I like putting it on the brush directly before I put it. And as you can see, I'm also using stippling motions. Try to follow this. I try to follow this line here, and I go as far as this point here with the contouring. This is going to give us more, it's going to bring back, you know, dimension into our face. My leg has fallen asleep. I really should start doing my videos on a stool like before. Then we're going to apply this contour shade on our forehead to bring in the natural shadows, because when you apply foundation, your face is kind of just flat, and that's why you need the contour to bring in the shadows back to your face. And of course, it also, the intensity of your contour depends on how you like your face. If you want it more chiseled, you're going to maybe do a little bit more. So I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and I'm going to use this side to blend out the concealer. Are you seeing my concealer dried? But it's okay. I'm going to spray some setting spray and it should be, I should be able to work with it. If you're paying attention, you will have realized that we are using stippling motion also, because we are not swiping the product from one side of the face to the other. We are just using a stippling motion. So for the under eye, oh, my foot is falling asleep. Let me continue to blend this out and then I can tell you what I wanted to say. So now that would be like, just for me going, that would be like the mocha is like 2 shades lighter than my foundation shade. Yeah, personally I want to a little bit more highlight underneath my eyes, so I'm going to go in with mahogany. You can see the difference, right? Because that's what I like. So we are going to go in with mahogany, and I'm going to use this other side of the beauty blender, and I'm just gonna concentrate it mainly underneath my eye and push it out a little bit. There are people who go with the lighter shade also on their nose and on their forehead. I don't do that. I just take the excess and yeah. You can see we have a line of demarcation right here and over here where the concealer ends and the foundation begins. So you're going to use the butt of your beauty blender, the side that you had used with the foundation, and just try to blend it out. You're still using stippling motions. After this, we are going to set everything. First of all, I have the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I have the Juvia's Place powder in Namib, and I also have the black opal. I always interchange between the black opal and the Juvia's Place powder. For just underneath my eye, because of the brightness, I want I like my under eye to be bright. I'm going to go in with this brush. I love this brush from Real Technique. It's the contour brush, but I use it for powder. I just love how it applies powder underneath my eye. You will notice that I'm not baking, and I'm still using stippling motion. I'm going to do that on both eyes. You see how it kind of absorbs the I love going in with the brush because it really sets underneath. I have under eye creasing. So it really goes in there and does and do what it's supposed to do. For the rest of my face, I'm going to go in with this beauty blender, which is also damp. This beauty blender is also damp, and I'm going to go in with the with the black opal powder. And my black opal powder is in the shade medium. If you're a dark-skinned woman like I am, I would recommend that you take a translucent powder that is maybe brown and not white. You can still use, like I use the translucent powder, but I'm going to go over it with this powder because with experience I've come to realize sometimes when you just use the translucent powder and you take photos, it kind of gives a little bit of flashback. Anyway, you're gonna tap off the excess powder and you're just gonna set everywhere where you highlighted. Using a brown powder. If you don't have a brown powder, see, like now with the rest of the powder, I've gone over the where I had used the Laura Mercier translucent powder just to diffuse it a little bit. If you don't have a skin toned, like a tone, what do they call it? They call it skin tone. If you don't have like a brown powder, you can use a banana, or you can use your translucent powder, but not a lot of it. If you're dark skinned like me, if you're lighter skin and you can use that one, or you've been using it and it hasn't had any flashback effects when you take pictures, then feel free to use the white translucent powder. For your bronze, we're going to go ahead and set the contour. For that, I'm going to use this Glow Revolution Glow Splendor Ultra Matte Bronzer in the shade Dark. This is what it looks like. I'm going to use this fluffy brush and tap off the excess. Just go back to where I had applied the contour. This bronzer is bringing back the warmth in our face. I think you can tell we have a little bit line of demarcation. We'll get rid of it. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this video, watch it till the end, then stop. Then tomorrow or any other day when you have time, take your makeup, sit down, and let's watch this video and do it on your own. The only way you're going to learn how to put on makeup is by trying. My tip to you, try when you're just staying at home. Don't try and then walk out. You might go out looking, because when I first started with makeup, I want to use this brush for my nose. When I first started with makeup, my friend, I also started wearing makeup and then staying home. Why? There are days that makeup was not looking good at all. At all. I practiced my eyebrows at home for a while. Then one day, I was off to visit my friend. I just decided to do my eyebrows. She was shocked. Oh my God, your eyebrows look so good. And she every time I would go, like maybe I'd go visit her at her house. Not that I'd still have to get out of my house, take a train to her place. but then I had my makeup on. So every time we would meet, I always practiced doing my makeup. And when we were going out, like, we would do our makeup together. I started learning from her. She used to find her she's light skinned, so she can find makeup in our drugstores here in Switzerland. Personally, for me, that was not the case. I always have to like spend a little bit of dollars, a little bit of francs, because for me, for my shade, I have to get like from Bobbi Brown or MAC, or a little bit high-end Fenty. You'll realize that I've done my nose without talking to you guys, telling you what to do, because I'm still learning how to do my nose. So that's why. You can already see the difference. Here is a little bit lighter and here it's darker. It looks good. It's not the best nose contour, but it's good. I'm just gonna take some powder and tap off the excess. You want to emphasize it a little bit. So I'm sure you have seen people who apply powder right underneath where they contour, which we can also do. First of all, for this you need, if you're dark skinned, you need you need to do this with a brown translucent powder, not a translucent powder. This kind of helps to define your contour. Kind of just, I don't know if you're seeing what happens after you've applied. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of making it stand. It makes your contour stand out, you know. There we have it. So I'm going to set everything using my setting spray, and I'm using the setting spray from Maybelline, lasting spray from Maybelline. Did I mention that you have to make sure that your foundation either matches you or it's darker than you? I told you when it's darker. Did I mention this or not? Well, let me repeat it, because this is very important. I used to be that girl who used to wear foundations that are not her shade, and despite the fact that my makeup was eating, when you take photos, there's a very big difference. Like your face, like you're looking yellow. I don't know. You're just looking different shades of I don't know what. Make sure your foundation matches your skin. It's difficult at the beginning when you start figuring out your shade, but once you figure out your shade, let nobody lie to you that, I don't know, they're giving you, just because that is their darkest shade, it doesn't mean it's for you. Okay? Just because ebony is their darkest shade, it doesn't mean it's for you. Just because which shade do they have? Espresso. Just because espresso is their darkest shade, it doesn't necessarily mean espresso is the shade for you. You might have to go online or to another shop and look for the next darkest shade if you are dark skinned. Even if just make sure your foundation matches you. Always try to match your foundation on your chest or with your neck. It's all about preference at the end of the day. If you're going to match it on your face, take the foundation, go to the shop, take the tester, apply like 3 different shades, and then let it dry. Go outside where there's natural light, take a mirror and look and see which shade has disappeared into your skin, which shade is not turning gray, which shade is not turning orange, like that. The one that disappears into your skin and it looks natural, that is the one you want. That is the foundation shade you want. Okay, so our thing has dried, our setting spray. Now we're going to go in with the blush. In this video I'm not going to show you how to highlight, because this is supposed to be a beginner makeup for beginners video. So I'm going to use this blush. This is from MAC. It has some sort of shimmer. I don't know if you can see it. It has some sort of shimmer. These are one of the first blushes that I had, because before I never used to contour. I just didn't have the confidence to contour. I didn't have the confidence to highlight. So I got a tip from a lady who was working at MAC. She told me, if you're not feeling like highlighting is also not for everybody. Pick a blush that has shimmer, and then you don't have to highlight. So I think this is called Peach. I can't tell the name, guys. Anyway, I use this trick. I learned it on YouTube. I cannot remember from who. I can't remember. But if you've been watching my videos, I'm sure I mentioned it back then. So I usually put my 2 fingers right here by my nostrils, and then next to my nostrils, then at the end of my nose. Then I smile, and that is where I apply my blush. So when I'm not smiling, my blush is not down to my face. I don't know if you get it. So you'll realize that the blush also has some shimmer. So that means I don't need to highlight. By the way, right now I know how to highlight, but if I'm going to be wearing this blush, I don't highlight, because otherwise it's just going to be too much. I love this brush. I think this brush, I got it from DM. So obviously, that if you've clicked onto this video, obviously you're a beginner with makeup, and maybe you've watched videos and people are like, oh, I'm using the Morphe, I don't know which Morphe brush, or I'm using Sigma, and you go online and you check the prices and you're blown away by the prices. Personally, I don't have any of those brushes. I buy my brushes, I think most of my brushes are from Morphe, and I always buy them when they're on sale or clearance. My first set of makeup brushes was from DM. I just went to DM. They produce their own makeup brushes, beauty blenders, and what have you. I believe this beauty blender is from DM. No, this is Real Technique. This is DM. This one too. Most of my brushes, the ones I began with the ones I began to practice makeup on, I got them from DM. They're just these cheap, affordable brushes that help you maneuver your way. You will get to choose, you see, okay, this brush I like, this brush I don't like, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. You don't have to break the bank by buying the most expensive brushes, if at all you're not even wearing makeup. You can just get the affordable brushes and practice with them. With time, you get to choose, I like this type of brush, I love this type of brush. So by the time you're making an investment to buying a very good brush, or one of those brushes that influencers or makeup gurus suggest, then you already know what works for you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our finished look. I'm going to set it a little bit one more time with the setting powder before I apply finishing spray. Before I apply this finishing powder and set everything. I really hope this video has been helpful. I've really tried to go into detail. I've been talking for the last 35 minutes non-stop. Wow, non-stop. Okay, our face is now dry. I'm going to go in with the MAC Dark Deepest finishing MAC Dark Deepest Skin Finish. I love this. If you want to spend some coin on something, I suggest spending some coin on this. Ever since I got it, I don't regret it. I use Dark Deepest because, of course, I'm dark skinned. And I'm just going to set my whole face with this. I always carry this also around because I have oily skin. So when my face gets oily, I kind of just set everything. I blot my face, and then I set with this. So then we're going to apply some more setting spray. Yeah, and let everything dry down. As you wait for things to dry, you're going to take, just before it completely dries, you're going to take a beauty blender and you're going to push everything in to avoid looking powdery. There, we are done. These are very, 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 very light beads. Let me add my lip gloss. So that's it. This is our finished bit. It's very simple. I really hope this video has been helpful. If you're going to try putting on makeup using this tutorial, leave a comment down below, and in case you do use it and you like the outcome, take a photo and tag me on Instagram. I'd really like to see how it all came out, and I'll be very happy to know that I've helped a sister, a brother out there to do their makeup. So if you're new here and if you've watched this video up to this point and you haven't subscribed, and you know very well this is not your first video that you're watching, please click on the subscribe button. It's free. Don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and like the video. That's giving it a thumbs up. Like the video, comment down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Bye.